Hey there! Welcome back to another Hey there, what's up Jenny fans, and welcome along to another video with me, Jenny Kirk, and we're here with some of the bits and pieces that I've been buying over the last couple of months actually. It's been slowing down somewhat, but I really wanted to talk to you about this particular item, and this is something that, whilst we can see here, we've got a catalogue number 32701, and this is a class 46 in BR Blue tops livery 46053. Now, as you can see from here, it's not one that's been in the catalogue for a little while. It's probably a few years old, but that said, this particular model is one that is still a current model in this form in the catalogue, but at a much greater price. And what happened here was I went to a model shop where they had a lot of stock in that really just hadn't sold for whatever reason, and they still had it in the cabinets at what had originally been the price that things were selling for 4, 5, even 6 years ago, and they'd not changed, whereas the prices from Bachmann have doubled and if not tripled in some cases in the same length of time. And for me, this was fortuitous because I've been wanting a class 46 for quite a while, but I go for the BR Blue tops livery, and I think the current offering in the catalogue in BR Blue has the D number, so it's just slightly pre-tops. But I think the RRP for them at the moment is over £100. Now, I paid £60 for this, and this is not second hand. This is brand new stock that's just sat around. In fact, I tried to peel the price off that said £60, and it's been on so long it's pulled a little bit of the box off. But there was quite a few other locomotives there as well, all in the same boat as this, and all at very favourable prices, and it was most refreshing to not see any locomotive above £100. And these came from, I'm quite happy to tell you, the receipt is actually here. I'll just pull it out. Covering up the details because I'm told that this will probably reveal my card details, even though to me it's mostly asterisks. But we can see there, the Hobby and Model Centre. This is 1 Hulton Lane. This is in Bolton as you head out on the road towards Hunger Hill and West Orton. And we go down there quite a lot with Zoe's counselling work. We can also see down here that I paid £60, and that's the brand new price. This came out of the cabinet where it had sat sitting there patiently with about a dozen, maybe 15 other locomotives saying, "Please buy me, I'm getting lonely," or something like that. I don't know, they don't really talk except in my head. And we can see we've got the usual bump that squeezed in here. But there we have it. And this is the exact locomotive that I've been wanting to get since it was new and just never quite got round to. But we can see here the older style packaging that Bachmann have now got rid of with this heavy duty polystyrene. We're going to tip it over. We're going to just carefully get that out from there because I just free that up from the protective packaging. And there we have it. Now, the origins of this particular model go back to, I think, Mainline originally introduced this. They were a part of Palitoy. But the history of how Bachmann ended up with the moulds for this was that Cader Industries in Hong Kong were effectively contracted to make a number of different models for the UK market. But such was the terms of the contract, I believe, that the actual moulds were owned by Cader rather than Palitoy. So when the General Mills empire got broken up and Palitoy got sold on, I think became Replica Railways, may have been absorbed into Daypole, things like that. The actual moulds and the ability to make the models remained with Cader, and that's how they originally entered the UK market. with, amongst other things, models like the Class 45 and the 46, and they did later bring out a Class 44 as well. Now, outwardly, those three particular locomotives are fairly similar. The originals, the pilot scheme, there was 10, I believe, of the Class 44, and then from experience gained with those, they went on to build the Class 45s and then latterly the Class 46s. And even though this locomotive doesn't really look a lot like a Class 47, it is actually the genesis of the Class 47 design. And indeed, the last few Class 46s that were scheduled to be built were cancelled, and some of the electrical equipment, and I believe maybe even the engines, were transferred over to the Class 47 building programme. But we've got a model here in probably mid to late 1970s into the 1980s livery in the all-over blue. Now, a lot of people slate this, and I've said it before, I just happen to quite like the Topps blue period, simply because it's what I remember when I was small and easily influenced by trains. It's got a very distinctive style. We've got the very short, stubby nose bonnets and the strange, almost, well, in American parlance, some people might refer to them as a dodo, even though actually they're a cocoa bogie, but with an integral extra set of trailing pony wheels to support the weight. And that was one of the problems the Class 44, 45 and 46 designs, was that they were actually a bit on the heavy side, and certainly the Class 47 design, I think, in part, was addressing some of those issues. One of the other things as well I want to bring to your attention is that the drive for this model, it's actually got drive to both bogies, so it'll have a centrally mounted can motor that drives through worm and gear tower. Not every wheel on the bogie, but certainly I can feel that's a driven wheel and that's a driven wheel. The other two are idles, and it's the same on the other bogie. So actually the grip from this locomotive when it runs will be pretty good. And we can also see nice crisp detail application of the details that it does have, like the number. I've got every confidence that the Topps panel there will show up perfectly, and then we've got the double arrows of indecision and the overhead warning flashes. It's quite a slap-sided model, even though it dates back to that original genesis with mainline in the 1980s. It has been improved and updated over the years, so we've got metal handrails in there, and I think that Bachmann have slowly addressed some of the issues with the air gap between the bogies and the body. Now, it's still to some extent here on this model, but when it sits on the track, actually, it does look the part. There's not a lot of opportunity with a lot of these diesel classes for separately applied detail, but what we do have is the sanding pipes, separately applied metal. We've got a nice relief picked out of the rivet detail. These quite distinctive bogies, some of which actually did find later use as a propelled snowplough, actually, after the withdrawal of some of these locomotives. British Rail and latterly seeing service with Rail Track and Network Rail, they converted some of these for small snowplough use. But we've also got the air tanks, I think they're air tanks in the middle, and some of this pipework is separate metal applied pipework fittings. It's quite nice. We can see we've got an element of flush glazing on there, separately applied windscreen wipers, and quite a bit of detail on these domino coated nose ends. On the roof we've got a separate fan, and sometimes with these, when can't seem to get it to turn. I know on the Class 25s and Class 24s, if you blow really hard down into there, you steam up the cab windows, but for some strange reason the fan that's down in there spins, but not on this particular example. The roof relief is actually pretty finely moulded, and there's just something about these particular locomotives that really I have a soft spot for. So I already had a Class 45, so this was a nice opportunity to pick up the Class 46 variant. There's not a lot else really that can be said about this. The most significant aspect of this model really is the fact that this particular shop has quite a few Bachmann models that versions are still available in the main range, but at vastly lower prices by nature of the fact that they've been there a few years. So there's a gentleman there who he would probably do himself favours if he sold some of these on the internet and reached a wider audience. And that really is the only reason that these are still on the shelves, is that this shop doesn't have an internet presence and it is a little bit off the beaten track. His specialist area is things like planes and boat models, so the model railway stuff isn't really his main focus. But what it does mean is that there's an opportunity here to really make his Christmas by going in there and clearing his shelves out. But I hope you've liked this video, so don't forget to like it, share it too, and subscribe to the channel and you'll be the first to know about new videos as they go on. What more can I say? It's the perfect thing to do, because it makes me happy. And when I'm happy, the world is a better place. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself. And this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying, until next time, bye for now. Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to the Dungeon of Confusion.
To the Castle of Confusion.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, you can tell I wasn't a big fan of Dungeon Crawl or whatever it was.
Nightmare!
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, right, go on, do your intro, come on.